Hey guys, Shaunie here from MeowLoots. I'm a crocheter and I make cute, geeky amigurumis. I've recently started indulging myself in a new craft though, resin. I guess I was a little ambitious to decide on doing such a considerably big project when I'm so new at this. I started on this project on the second day, yes, only the second day of my exposure to this new craft form. And as expected, I made a lot of mistakes and discovered a lot of things through this project in between too. So I've decided to record the whole process, knowing that I will very likely make lots of mistakes. This is so that I can look back and address some of the things that I could have done better, so that hopefully when you do a project similar to this, or if you're just getting into resin crafting like me, you won't have to make the same mistakes I did after watching this video. Since I just started, I didn't have a lot of color options apart from the colors that were included in the beginner's kit. So I did some research on whether I could mix acrylic paint as a dye and actually found different answers. So I decided to try it myself. So here I mixed dark blue acrylic into clear AB resin. It looked good at first, but noticed that some of the colors weren't really dissolving. And this kind of gives a special effect where it looks like I have color flakes or something mixed into it. But while it might look nice for some projects, most projects are no-no, as this will only make it look very messy, because usually a solid color would help to give the whole thing a more smooth and complete finish. So here, this method of pouring resin onto a piece of plastic was actually a stroke of genius I had that day, because I dripped some resin on a sheet of plastic on my first day and realized that this could be used to make a flat piece of thing, so I decided to make a starry night sky. Since mixing acrylic gives it a textured look, I thought it was really suitable for dirt, so I laid the ground for Bulbasaur in the same way. So sorry that my steps aren't in proper sequence, because I was also kind of winging it throughout the process. I dripped clear resin onto the dark blue sky to give it a fairy tale storybook kind of feel. I think it turned out really nice. And here we have the star of the show, Bulbasaur. I actually found this in Jalan, Japan. I didn't remember how much I bought it for, but I bought it because it was a Bulbasaur. It was a bit dirty and the whole thing was made of rubber plastic, so it isn't exactly solid. So I've decided to use this for my project so I could give him a little facelift, if you may, at the same time. So I painted him with acrylic paint, as I'm not a pro figurine painter, so you can see that I kind of fumbled and went over certain parts multiple times, and the brushes I used were also regular paint brushes that aren't exactly the right size, but it gets the job done. I decided to give my Bulbasaur heart-shaped markings, just like Shauna's Bulbasaur, instead of his regular rectangular and triangular patches. I then coated the painted Bulbasaur with Mod Podge, done off camera, and stuffed his inside so resin can get into his body and get wasted. Then I prepared some stuff that could be used as grass and plants as decorations. I think I didn't mention this before, but the mixing of AB resin must be done thoroughly. The A part and the B part of the resin must be mixed thoroughly until you don't see any residual or cloudiness in your mixture. And be careful not to mix too fast, as mixing too fast or too vigorously will get air bubbles inside your resin. Onto texturing and shading the grass, and then mixing the resin for the grass layer. Then I embedded the grass into the grass. You get what I mean. After about 3 to 5 hours, the resin would be semi-cured, but not completely hardened. So here's where you can poke the little plants in place and introduce Bulbasaur to his new habitat. I cut the cured night sky piece to size and slot it at the back as the background. But I actually made a mistake at this point because I did not make sure that everything was secured properly. I was too excited, so once I placed everything in place, I poured my clear resin. The Bulbasaur actually floated all the way up, but I managed to quickly take it out and fix the problem. So make sure that you don't make the same mistake that I did. Remember to secure your pieces. After the pieces are all secured in position, pour in the clear resin. So I chose not to mix anything or any color to this part because I really don't want to steal Bulbasaur slime light. There were a lot of air bubbles for this layer. I think it might be that I poured the resin in too quickly and introduced air bubbles that got trapped in there. I think I also left my resin for a while after mixing and before I poured it in, so it became less liquidy than I liked, and it seemed like air bubbles get in more easily in this state. So guys, in conclusion, don't be like me. Pour immediately after mixing properly, but pour slowly and gradually. I tried to salvage what I can and pop the air bubbles with a pick and a lighter, but it only helped a bit. Well, too late. And because the items inside were placed very closely, I couldn't access some of the parts and hence couldn't even reach the air bubbles in those spots. But what's done is done. Lesson learned. And the demolding process. This is the most exciting feeling, full of anticipation to see what you've made. I actually had a hard time removing the cube at first, but finally got it out after carefully peeling the sides away first and running water into the mold. I washed the cube and let it dry. Then I domed each of the main surface and the top, done off camera, as it was actually done a day or two after I took it out from the mold. And ta-da! It's finished! As you can see, I missed a little corner right there, so don't be stingy with your resin. Into the shelf it goes to join my other Bulbasaur horde. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope that this video has helped in some ways, and I'll see you next time. Bye!